When you hear the words, bury this in the ground and walk away, they may sound simple, but in the language of the Spirit, simplicity often hides mystery. There are moments in life when heaven whispers not fight, but surrender, not in weakness, but in prophecy. For there are battles not won with hands, but with faith that digs deep into the soil of obedience. To bury something is not to hide it, it is to release it. You are not running from your burden, you are returning it to the earth from which all things came, allowing heaven itself to judge what has worn your soul thin. When you turn your back and walk away, your silence becomes a declaration. I have fought enough, now the Lord fights for me. Every object you place beneath the ground in this sacred act carries weight beyond its shape. You are not practicing superstition, you are participating in divine law, the unseen economy of faith and obedience. The ground listens, creation responds, and the forces that once stood against you tremble when you act under divine command. Before you begin, cleanse your heart. Let go of bitterness, for bitterness blinds results. This act is not revenge, it is justice under heaven's authority. You are not burying the curse, but to close. Not to destroy people, but to dismantle darkness. As you bury, you break. As you walk away, heaven begins to move. Choose your ground carefully. A quiet place where peace reigns and the soil is still. You are not calling spirits, you are declaring closure. Every step you take away from that spot proclaims freedom from bondage. When you turn your back, the battle ends. This pattern is ancient. Prophets and warriors of old performed such acts to mark the death of one season and the birth of another. The act of burial becomes a covenant, transforming pain into testimony, sorrow into seed, and warfare into worship. By the end of this sacred journey, every hidden plot of the enemy will fall silent. The soil that once drank your tears will now swallow their weapons. The curse will lose its roots. The spell will lose its anchor. And those who fought your peace, seen or unseen, will not rise again. The first thing you will lay into the ground is a simple piece of paper, but do not let its simplicity deceive you. In this act, the ordinary becomes sacred. That paper is not just pulp and ink, it becomes a vessel of surrender, a bridge between what once bound you and the freedom waiting to begin. Upon it, you will write the names, the memories, the delays, the betrayals, the curses, the contracts, every weight that has pressed against your peace. You are transferring the heaviness of unseen battles onto that paper so the earth may swallow what once swallowed your joy. Before you write, be still. Let silence invite the Spirit of God to whisper what must end. Do not rush. Let the names and memories surface from the deep. For every word you write is a confession of release. When the page is filled, lift it gently and declare aloud, I disconnect from every evil that has carried my name, my destiny, and my peace. Let your voice echo as judgment and freedom collide. Then fold the paper. It's not toward yourself, but away. Fold it 3 times. The first fold breaks connection. The second seals judgment. The third establishes freedom. As your hands fold, your spirit whispers, it is finished. Now anoint the paper either with olive oil or a touch of salt water. These are not charms, they are symbols. Oil speaks of covering. Salt speaks of purification and covenant. As they touch the paper, heaven acknowledges that what is written is judged, cleansed and sealed, never to rise again. At midnight, when the world is quiet and the earth listens without interruption, take the paper outside. Kneel before the soil, not in despair, but in holy authority, and speak softly as I bury this paper. I bury every evil intention written against my name. Every tongue that rose against me in judgment is silenced forever. Then push it deep into the earth with your hands. Feel the cool soil close over it. Stay for a moment, breathe, sense the release flow through your spirit. When you rise, do not look back. Looking back means doubt. Looking back gives power to what you've already defeated. Walk away with faith, for your obedience has spoken louder than your tears. The moment you turn, heaven began to move. Unseen angels now dismantle the systems that once held your peace hostage. In the days that follow, you will see signs, peace where turmoil lived, clarity where confusion reigned, dreams bright again, favor returning like morning light. Even those who once troubled you may fall silent. Do not call it coincidence, call it confirmation. The paper may have vanished beneath the soil, but the victory it released now speaks on your behalf. The ground has taken your burden and heaven has taken your case. The next act unfolds with two sacred elements, salt and ashes. Together, they speak a language older than words. Salt preserves, ashes purify. One guards what is holy, the other declares that destruction has already taken place. Salt was the covenant of ancient altars, a sign that what was offered to God would never decay. Ashes marked the end of what was burned, proof that the fire had done its work. When you bring these two together, you are performing a prophetic declaration. Every curse is reduced to ashes, and my destiny is preserved under divine protection. This is not superstition, it is symbolism, a conversation between the physical and the spiritual. The ashes say, "It is finished." The salt replies, "And it shall never return." Begin this act with a flame and a prayer. Take a small piece of paper and write upon it the names of your battles: fear, betrayal, sickness, delay, the losses that tried to silence you, the faces that wounded your peace. Set it alight. As it burns, whisper softly, "Let every wicked plan turn to smoke. Let every curse crumble like this paper before my eyes. Watch the fire consume every word. When the last ember dies, just the ashes that remain are no longer symbols of pain but of power, evidence that darkness has been defeated. Let them cool, then gather them gently. Hold them as you would hold proof of victory. Now take a handful of salt, pure, natural, unrefined, untouched by machinery, and mix it with the ashes. Let your hands move slowly as you speak life over your destiny. As salt preserves, my future is preserved. As ashes destroy, my enemies are destroyed. I mix purification with destruction. I mix covenant with victory. The moment you stir them together, something shifts. It is no longer a mixture of earth and minerals. It is a prophetic merger. Judgment meets mercy. Purity meets fire. Light meets darkness. And darkness cannot endure. Now take this sacred mixture outside. Find a quiet place somewhere the soil listens and the wind carries no noise. Do not announce what you are doing. Secrecy guards spiritual power. Dig a small hole and pour the salt and ashes into it. As the grains fall, declare aloud, I bury the ashes of defeat, poverty, delay, and betrayal. I seal this ground with the salt of victory and preservation. No evil shall rise from this soil again. Cover it slowly, pressing the earth down with reverence. Place your right hand over the ground and stay still. You may feel warmth, you may feel peace, you may even weep, for the earth has just received the evidence of your freedom. The ashes whisper that the battle is finished. The salt seals your victory so that nothing buried can ever rise again. The ground beneath you becomes a silent altar and heaven takes note of your fate. When you have finished, take one step backward. That step is prophetic. It means detachment, closure, and finality. Then turn away. Do not look back. As you whisper, just let the earth judge in righteousness. Imagine invisible chains breaking behind you, curses collapsing into dust, and the weight that once followed you losing its power to find you again. You have shifted your atmosphere. Your obedience has realigned creation itself. In the days ahead, watch how oppression begins to fade, how doors long shut begin to open, how the air itself seems lighter around you. These are not coincidences. They are the signatures of heaven. For what is sealed with salt and ashes cannot be undone by darkness. The soil has become your witness, and your victory has been written in its depths. There comes a moment when even reflection must rest. A mirror once used to see yourself can also hold the memory of what wounded you. When it shatters, it does not announce bad fortune. It announces closure. The broken mirror is a sign that you no longer need to watch your pain replayed. You no longer stand under the gaze of judgment or the weight of old stories. Hold that image in your mind, the mirror cracking, the pieces falling like sharp tears into silence. Now in your heart, speak softly. So every gaze that once pierced me is gone. Every reflection that showed only my pain is turned to light. Garlic and onion skins, simple, earthy things. This whisper of cleansing and renewal. They peel in layers, the way healing unfolds, one truth at a time, one release after another. Their fragrance rises not as a charm, but as a symbol, reminding you that purity has a scent, and that honesty always leaves its mark. Imagine peeling those layers not with your hands, but with your spirit. Each layer you lift away is an old fear, a hidden memory, a weight you no longer need to carry. The more you peel, the lighter you become. And when you breathe in, the air tastes clean again. The broken mirror teaches you to stop looking backward. The garlic and onion skins teach you to shed what no longer serves you. Together, Just they form a trinity of release, vision purified, heart cleansed, atmosphere renewed. In the quiet of your spirit say, let everything attached to me that is not love leave. Let everything that hides truth be revealed. Let my space within and around me be pure again. When you speak this, you are not commanding the earth, you are commanding peace to reign within you. The space around you becomes light. The air begins to settle, and slowly you notice the heaviness that once lingered has dissolved. The unseen has been made still. Your soul has room to breathe again. From that moment, walk as one renewed. You have not buried objects, you have buried fear, shame, and every unseen watcher within your own thoughts. The mirror, the garlic, and the onion skins now live as symbols of what was released. And the fragrance that remains is peace. After release comes fragrance. When the spirit is cleansed, the air must change. The scent of peace must replace the smoke of battle. Cloves and bay leaves, humble gifts of the earth, carry this secret in their fragrance. That sweetness can rise even from soil once stained with tears. Cloves speak of warmth, the comfort of protection, the whisper of restoration. Bay leaves speak of triumph, crowns of evergreen that never fade. Together they tell a story. What has been purified can now be preserved. What has been surrendered can now blossom again. In your mind, picture yourself holding these fragrant leaves. They are not tokens for the ground, but symbols for the heart. 7 cloves for divine completion. 1 bay leaf for unity with your higher purpose. Close your eyes and breathe in deeply. Let their scent fill the space between your thoughts. Every breath declares, my peace is whole again. My victory has begun. Imagine writing the word victory upon your heart, as if heaven itself has signed your freedom. If you have walked through long seasons of struggle, this moment whispers, it has turned. What once attacked you has lost its voice, and the fragrance of renewal now marks your path. Cloves and bay leaves become metaphors for your becoming, for sweetness returning to your name, for harmony settling into your home, for a future that now smells like promise instead of pain. Salt, too, finds its way into this story. Just the element of preservation and covenant. Think of it not as something poured, but as truth sprinkled into your life, ensuring that what was restored will not decay again. Speak softly to your spirit. I blend purity with power. I breathe fragrance into my destiny. Every place my name is spoken shall carry the scent of peace. And as you imagine this, feel the soil within your soul awakening. Not the earth beneath your feet, but the deeper earth within your being. There new things begin to grow, favor blooms, opportunities unfold. The air around you carries a quiet sweetness, a sign that the battle has been replaced by blessing. This is not superstition. It is transformation through symbol, through surrender, through faith. Every aroma tells heaven that you have healed. And every step you take now leaves behind a trace of divine fragrance, a testimony that victory has taken root in your spirit. Walk forward and let the scent of renewal follow you like a promise fulfilled. There are threads that run through our lives, woven by memory, by touch, by seasons we have outgrown. Some hold warmth, others tighten until they leave marks unseen. The soul cannot breathe while it remains stitched to yesterday. Picture an old cloth resting in your hands, a remnant of what once covered you, a fabric that remembers. It carries the scent of old rain, the shape of former storms. Now it becomes a symbol, the gathered weight of connections that were never meant to last forever. As you imagine this cloth, feel its threads loosen. Every fiber represents a story you no longer have to keep. The friendship that turned to pain, the promise that broke, the unseen bonds that kept you walking in circles. Lift it in your thoughts and whisper within. Every tie that does not serve my peace is undone. Every bond that does not carry love is released. See yourself laying that cloth upon the soil of your spirit, not to hide it, but to let the earth of your heart reclaim it. Oil and salt, the symbols of holiness and purity, drip like light upon it. They tell the old fabric, you are forgiven, you are finished. Breathe over it softly. Your breath is life renewed, your spirit reclaiming what was lost. In that breath lies power, the same breath that turns dust into creation. You are saying without words, I live again. Now imagine pressing the fabric into the ground of memory, covering it with faith, not dirt. As you do, feel invisible chain snapping. The past unthreads itself from your skin. Every old story returns to silence. Freedom does not shout, it exhales. Take a single step backward in your imagination, a gesture of detachment, a symbol of closure. Lift your hands to the sky and give thanks. What once bound me now belongs to the earth of peace. My identity is restored. My covering is pure. Stay in that stillness for a moment. A gentle calm will rise within you, a proof that release has occurred. You have not lost anything. You have reclaimed yourself. Every hidden bond that whispered control has dissolved, and the quiet that follows is sacred. Do not return to the place of your letting go. Do not search for what has already been healed. When something is laid down in faith, it belongs to time and grace. Walk away knowing this truth. What has been released cannot return in the same form. You are now clothed in new light, just stitched by peace, threaded by promise. Morning always comes, though sometimes softly. It does not rush, it simply reveals. So it is with healing. Yes, it rises without fanfare, filling every hollow place with light. When the soul has finished releasing, it does not need to search for proof. Peace itself becomes the proof. The air feels lighter, the heart beats slower, and even silence begins to sound like a song. This is the awakening, just not an arrival, but a remembering who you were before the world spoke fear into you, remembering the rhythm of grace that once guided your breath. You begin to walk differently. You no longer chase closure, you carry it. You no longer beg for love, you radiate it. The ground beneath you, once heavy with grief, now feels like an ally, not a weight. The salt of truth still lingers in your hands. The fragrance of renewal follows wherever you go. You find yourself blessing without trying, for the one who is at peace becomes a living prayer. Let your steps be gentle. You are treading upon answered prayers. Let your voice be kind. You are speaking from the mountain of your own deliverance. Let your laughter return without apology. It is the sound of chains that will never form again. When doubt tries to return, as it sometimes will, touch your heart and whisper, I am proof. For the evidence of restoration is not in what others see, but in the stillness you now carry. Each dawn becomes a quiet ceremony of gratitude. You wake, you breathe, and the world greets you as one reborn. The past no longer calls your name. The future no longer frightens you. You live in the sacred now, where everything forgiven becomes everything new. Walk forward in that grace. Let your story shine not as triumph over darkness, but as harmony reclaimed. The earth remembers your surrender. The heavens remember your name. You are free. You are whole, and peace, true, untouchable peace, is now the fragrance of your being. And now, as the final words settle into silence, just let your spirit rest in the fullness of all that has been spoken. You have walked through the sacred terrain of release, from the letting go of burdens to the fragrance of renewal, from broken reflection to the light that now moves within you. Everything you surrendered has become a seed. Everything you released has turned to wisdom. The earth holds your silence as testimony, and heaven holds your healing as truth. No longer must you chase freedom. It lives quietly in your breath. No longer must you search for signs. You have become one. Remember this, the divine does not ask you to be perfect, only present. For presence is the purest prayer. And peace, when it finally finds you, does not knock. It simply enters as if it has known your name forever. So walk gently now, as the ground beneath your feet remembers your journey. Let every step be a blessing spoken softly back to creation. Let every breath remind you that wholeness was never lost, only waiting to be seen again. You are light reclaimed, song rediscovered, and love made visible. And as the wind moves, may it carry your story not as struggle, but as serenity, a living benediction whispered into the world. Peace remains. Grace endures, and you are home.